Just wait, don't start. We're not yet ready. Yeah.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm Dr. Prithika Chary. I'm president of the Rotary Club of Madras Temple City. And I have with me here today a very eminent speaker in Dr. Prithika Chary. She's also a Rotarian and a member of our club, Rotary Club of Madras Temple City. She has the unique distinction of being a neurologist and a neurosurgeon. I'm sorry for that. She is a very passionate motivational speaker. She has a very long distinguished career in the field of neurology and neurosurgery in Chennai. And she's also runs a center called Epicenter, which is a specialist center for patients with epilepsy. And she's here to talk about mental health. She's done a lot of talks on mental health, and she's going to share one of those sessions today, which I'm sure will be extremely benefiting for all of the participants. So thank you, Dr. Prithika, for putting this session together for us. And I also thank Bhuneshwari, HR of Cogent Technologies, for arranging this session for her colleagues. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Prithika, for the introduction, and welcome to every one of you. I know this was at short notice, and so I'm really very, very appreciative that you're all here today, and I hope to bring you as much value as possible. So I'll just share my screen. Yes. So what we're going to do today is, on behalf of Rotary International and the Rotary Club of Madras Temple City, I'm very privileged to present this to you. We are particularly having an important focus on mental health throughout this year, actually. So this is just one of the many activities that we've been doing under this banner. So we have titled this as Wellness Unleashed, where you can change your health and become what I call as being stress fit. See, when you're physically fit and you fall sick, you recover very quickly. When you are stress fit and you face life's challenges or any kind of stress in your life, you are likely to bounce back better if you're fundamentally stress fit. So I'm just going to give you some guidelines today on what we mean when we say stress fit. I don't know why it's not moving. Yeah. So let me welcome all of you as stress fit champions, as future stress fit champions. Understand that stress is not unique to just one or two of us. It happens to all of us. We all face life stresses. It's normal. But the goal is to be as relaxed as this lady in this other picture. May I request all of you to mute yourselves, please? Yeah. So that we become like this. We are able to go through life like this and not like this. Stress affects your brain. I'm a neurologist, so I will naturally talk about this first. It can affect your brain negatively. And one of the very important areas of the brain which it damages is our memory center. And you will notice sometimes we come and tell, many people come and tell us as doctors, doctor, I think I'm losing my mind. My memory is gone. But they are actually under stress. Their memory is basically fine. They are so stressed that they are not able to function, and they've started impacting the memory center of the brain. So chronic stress happens when you have inadequate sleep, poor nutrition, when you're undergoing severe emotional distress of any kind. What it does is it increases the stress hormones or stress substances. Please mute yourself. Gautam, please mute yourself. Gautam, Raju, please mute yourselves. Yeah. So there is an increase in the, what we call as the glucocorticoids, which are just, I'm afraid I won't be able to continue till you all mute yourselves. Otherwise, I'll have to mute you. Okay, I'll stop share. Go to participants.
Oh.
I think Gautam's not showing up. His audio is not showing up here at all. But okay, please extend the courtesy to the other participants and mute yourself. Thank you. So when there is chronic stress, the glucocorticoids, which are a stress hormone, are increased. This is produced by a little gland called the adrenal gland, which is sitting on top of the kidney. Now that will cause certain regulation. There is another stress hormone called cortisol, which is produced. So this is a feedback loop. This makes this worse, this makes this worse, this makes this worse. It leads to cellular changes in the hippocampus, which is your memory brain. And when these changes happen in the hippocampus, your attention, your ability to perceive, your short-term memory, learning, word finding, all of these can get affected. So there is a very active stress brain loop, and the brain is negatively impacted by stress. Someone's also marking my slides with a red pen and all that. My slides are not moving. I know you are all IT guys. I'm not IT, I say. So, no, please don't record. You don't record. So, can I proceed? Yeah. Sandeep, I'm doing a meeting. I'll call you back. So stress can damage your body. It can damage your heart. It can damage you physically, mentally. It can damage your immune system. Your ability to withstand disease can be affected by stress, and so can your sleep be affected by stress. If you want to avoid stress, one of the very important elements is to manage your emotions. Now, managing emotions in today's world has become a very, very important thing. Because even in job applications, in job recruitment, people prefer you to have a good emotional quotient or emotional intelligence. And what is this? It is your ability to manage your emotions and behave appropriately in various situations. It is your ability to getting along with others. It is your ability to being able to work as a team with other people. Now, all of this is your emotional quotient. And when you're not managing your emotions well, it leads to a lot of anxiety, depression, and unmanaged stress can be very detrimental to your emotions. We all know of people who are under stress, or when you yourself are under stress, how you're more irritable. Something which normally you won't react to, you lose your temper, or you get excited, or you get upset, or you get offended. or your reaction is not appropriate to the stimulus. And that is because you're primarily under stress, and so you're overreacting. And remember that taking care of yourself is very, very important. Self-care is not being selfish. It is self-love. You have to learn to love yourself. All of us we have imperfections. So the good, the bad, the ugly in you. First, you must learn to accept and love. Because if you don't love yourself, you cannot expect somebody else to even care about you. For this, for self-care, you have to prioritize 3 things: your sleep, your exercise, and a balanced diet. I told you that EQ is as important as IQ in today's world. And remember that stress can destroy your sleep. So there are some things that you can do to ensure you get a good night's sleep. First and foremost, you must follow what is called as sleep hygiene. Now, what is sleep hygiene? Sleep hygiene is going to bed at a regular time, waking up at a regular time, making sure that your bedroom is the temperature is comfortable, ideal suggested temperatures between 18 and 22 degrees. Make sure that you're well hydrated, that you've not taken any stimulants before you go to bed, like coffee, tea. Many people think that alcohol actually helps them to sleep, but it can have a reverse effect. If you take alcohol just before you go to bed, you may doze off initially, but you may wake up in the middle of the night. Make sure that there is adequate fresh air. Make sure that your bed is comfortable and that you are in a good mood when you go to bed. Falling into bed totally exhausted, as many of us are doing today, is not going to allow you to sleep. Excuse me, it's a call from the hospital. Sister, na apram pesuramma. Okay. So understand that exercise is a very good way to bring down your stress hormones. Now, why are we saying this? What has physical exercise got to do with de-stressing your brain? There is a substance called BDNF, or brain-derived neurotropic factor, which is produced by the brain when you do physical exercise. And this builds up nerve connections. It is very good for the growth of the brain, and it maintains all the synaptic connections, etc., in good health. The reverse can also occur when you eat junk food, when you don't get enough sleep, when you is undergoing a lot of stress. Your BDNF levels tank, they just drop. So a little bit of exercise every day, which you do consistently, is more beneficial than just going one day in the week for 1 hour in the gym and doing very, very vigorous exercise. So staying small, staying consistent is more important than these binge workouts that many people subject themselves to. A balanced diet. Diet has got a lot to do with mood. In fact, we do a whole session on brain food and mood, and how each type of food that you eat, whether it's a carbohydrate, protein, fat, how it affects your mood and how it affects your brain function. But a general rule, if you want good brain health, is have plenty of vegetables, have plenty of fruits, and drink a lot of water. Then being calm, learning how to be calm. It's very difficult to be calm in a very chaotic environment. So practice actively being calm. Now, what helps here is meditation. At the end of this session, if there's time, I will take you through a mini meditation where you will appreciate the fact that even just 2 to 3 minutes of calming yourself with deep breathing and just bringing yourself down to a relaxed state can be very beneficial. Now, most of us are subject to this stress. All of us have too much to do, too little time to do it. So it's very important for us to develop effective time management strategies. Now, in time management, one of the important things that you must remember is that having little breaks actually makes you more productive. Some of you may be familiar with the Pomodoro technique, where every 25 minutes you take a 5-minute break. And you can do this for 3 hours or so. And after that, you take a 15 to 30-minute break. So in the course of the day, especially if you're working from home, many people do not do this. And so they get more stressed working from home than they do sometimes in the office. In fact, what I recommend is they say, no, ma'am, when I'm working like this, I get WhatsApps, I get messages from the phone calls from the office. I do. So you can work out with your office that every 25 minutes, you will spend 10 to 15 minutes returning messages and receiving messages and maybe taking phone calls, so that when you're actually working, it doesn't disturb that. So it's all a question of good communication and collaboration for us to be able to effectively manage our time. So you have to know where to draw the boundary. You have to know how to prioritize your tasks. And you have to also decide not to postpone. Most of us tend to say, okay, I don't have time to do this now, so I'll postpone it. So today I postpone to tomorrow. Tomorrow I postpone to day after tomorrow. And then it goes on and never gets done. So if you make yourself more productive and manage your time effectively, you will be able to get it done and not postpone what you need to do. Another thing that many of us do is we think we are all alone in this game. Only I am suffering. Everybody else is managing somehow. That's the impression you have. Only each person knows how they are struggling to maintain their stress balance. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Ask for help from your friends, your family, and then we professionals are there. There are so many YouTube channels, so many posts that you can go to Google, you can refer. There's so much things that you can understand better and seek out support. But I would suggest that you don't rely too much on some of the guidelines given in Google, because you're not sure of the source, whether it's authentic or not. Then, of course, the more you are the sum of 5 people you spend your time with. So if the people around you are negative people, you're likely to be a negative person too. If the people around you are very positive, they go for it, they're very motivated, they're very inspirational, that positive thinking can help you to combat and deal with your stress. So surround yourself with uplifting people. And when you set your health goals, now after listening to some of these talks, what most of us do is we go and say, okay, from tomorrow I'm going to walk 10 kilometers. From tomorrow, I'm going to eat only 2 meals a day. I'm going to calculate what I eat. I'm going to calculate my calories. I'm going to bed at 8 o'clock, not at 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock like I normally do. We set these impossible health goals. And then what happens? We do it for 1 day or 2 days, if at all. We join a gym for a year. We go and do an annual membership and we never go. So in fact, the Mahatriya says, he calls it the 1:23 rules. 1:23 rule for health. He says, just devote 1 hour a day out of your 24 hours for the sake of your health. Doing various aspects. Something for your mind, something for your body, something for your soul. And you'll find that you are actually doing something worthwhile for your health goals. And anything that is measurable is doable. So if you're not able to measure and track your progress, you will find that you think you are doing what you want to do, but you may not be achieving your goals at all. So learn to track your progress. You do this in your work. In all our work things, we've got audit, we've got tracking the progress, we've got the feedback, we've got all that. Apply all that even to your life. And understand that there is a definite connection between stress and health. And you should create a journey towards stress-fit living. So stress can lead to various diseases and disorders, especially in young adults. Many of you in this audience today are young adults. One of the very important things that I see a lot of IT professionals who come to me saying, ma'am, I'm not sure what it is, but I'm very anxious, I'm depressed, I'm not sleeping, I'm just feeling uneasy and I'm not sure why I'm feeling that way. And they don't realize that it is actually the background to that is that they're on the verge of burnout or they're very stressed. So chronic stress can lead to a generalized anxiety disorder. It can lead to panic attacks. It can lead to social anxiety. Social anxiety is being anxious while being with others. Depression, again, risk of depression in young adults is very high. That can be a persistent sadness, a lack of interest in doing anything, an inability to sleep, either increased or decreased appetite. All of these are symptoms of depression. And of course, sleep disturbances, I already told you, is very common. As it is, the work style of young adults encourages sleep deprivation, which is bad for your health. But when you are insomniac because you are anxious or depressed, it's much worse. And what many people do is they resort to alcohol or substance abuse. So when you turn to alcohol or drugs as a coping mechanism, you can get into more trouble. Some people resort to eating disorders like binge eating, bulimia, eating and then worrying about weight gain and then vomiting it, anorexia nervosa, where they completely go off food. All of these are symptoms which can present when you're stressed. Now, the most famous person for bulimia was Lady Diana. She was undergoing so much stress in the royal family that she was very conscious that she has to look slim and beautiful, that she suffered from bulimia. So she would eat and then vomit it all out. So that's a binge, it's an eating disorder. Believe it or not, hypertension is very, very real in young people. And very often there is no other risk factor except for stress. So when you have hypertension, especially when you get it when you're young, the risk of heart disease and brain disease or brain attack is very, very high in the long run. You can get disturbances in your digestion, gastrointestinal issues. You can get what is called as irritable bowel syndrome. You can get peptic ulcer. You can get digestive disorders. You can get you can get indigestion. You can get skin conditions like psoriasis, eczema, headaches, migraine. And altogether, in all, in chronic stress, the immune system is very weak. And so your ability to withstand disease also gets affected. So what is the behavior change you can bring about in an anxiety disorder? You can practice what is called as mindfulness and relaxation. Now, mindfulness means paying full attention to what you're doing at the moment. Now, when I eat mindfully, what I'm doing is I'm not watching television. I'm not scrolling my phone. I'm fully focusing on the meal. I'm relishing each morsel that I eat. I chew well. I make sure that I enjoy the food that I'm eating. That is being mindful when I'm eating. So you have to learn to be mindful in everything you do. So when you're working, for instance, have your full focus on that. Complete attention should be there. Don't distract yourself with other things. And be relaxed in the state when you're working. And sometimes when you get very worked up, just a few deep breaths can make a big difference in calming you down. Then there are, of course, techniques which psychologists and doctors teach patients, like progressive muscle relaxation. It is taught in hypnotherapy, it is taught in yoga, it is taught in various disciplines. And one of the good health habits to avoid anxiety disorders is to have a regular sleep schedule so that you get enough rest. For depression, engaging in physical activity boosts all the happy hormones in the brain. So there is something called endorphin. Endorphin is like a natural morphine and it boosts your mood. And this level increases when you do physical exercise. Make sure that you eat a good diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Insomnia, I told you have to create a nice, relaxing bedtime routine. But the most important thing in today's world is the screen time before sleep. The blue light emanating from screens can actually give you an inadequate quality of sleep. So 1 hour before bedtime, please go into a technology detox. No technology of any kind 1 hour before bedtime. In fact, I go one step further. If you're not a doctor and very dependent that you may be called in the middle of the night and things like that, I would even suggest that you keep your phone for charging in another room, not in the bedroom. So make sure that your sleep environment is comfortable, dark, quiet, and if need be, play some nice music which can be soothing, help you to sleep. Substance abuse is a very, very serious thing which is happening everywhere today. from schools to colleges to workplaces, young adults are being exposed and having access, easy access to a lot of abusive drugs. And they don't realize that sometimes I just tried it for fun can make it into a habit. So if by any chance any of you are abusing either alcohol or a drug, please understand that the sooner you go and get help from a professional, the more likely you are to recover. Because another very bad thing which happens very often in people who abuse substances is that they suddenly overdose themselves. When something depresses them, something upsets them, they suddenly overdose themselves. And all of these are very dangerous things. So if you do take alcohol, which I'd recommend you don't, limit it and do not touch any of the recreational drugs. Eating disorders, understand that each one of us is made differently. Some of us are fat, some of us are thin, some of us are shapely, some of us are not so shapely. But understand that it is your body, have a positive body image about that. There's no harm in wanting to improve the way that body looks. But don't let the fact that your body looks in a particular way and doesn't look like a model in the walking on the ramp depress you or upset you and make you do very crazy, abnormal things like anorexia and bulimia. And if you're struggling with some of these things, ask for help. There are professionals available to help. Mindful eating is very, very useful for us to get the right perspective on what we eat and how we eat it. And don't go into all these fad diets that are there all over the place. So restrictive diets, intermittent fasting one day, then keto diet one day, something else, something else. Hypertension, I told you, one of the best ways to ward off hypertension, it can be hereditary. Your parents might have had it, so you may have it. Engage in regular physical activity, practice stress reduction, reduce salt intake, maintain a healthy weight. See, in hypertension, what happens? The inner diameter of the blood vessel gets very thick. And so the whole flow is, the tube capacity is narrow. And there's resistance in the wall, and so you get a blood pressure. In your GI issues, here again, avoid overeating, eat slowly, have fiber-rich diet, lots of fruits and vegetables, avoid junk food, and practice stress trigger, manage your stress triggers. See if you, what makes you stressed and deal with it. Skin conditions, make sure that you are clean. Some people nowadays are so absorbed with themselves and with their lives that they don't even have a bath every day. So make sure that you drink enough water and don't let your skin be exposed to too much sun. Headaches and migraine sometimes require medical treatment, but stay hydrated and stay relaxed. Weakened immune system, again, if you manage your stress, if you eat well and you exercise, lots of vitamins, minerals, chances are your immune system can protect you from most illnesses. So what life skills do you need to be able to maintain your mental wellness? I told you, you have to know how to manage your emotions. You have to be able to recognize, understand, manage your emotions. This is very, very crucial for mental wellness. Stress management, I've already told you about. Effective communication skills. You should be able to listen to others. You should be able to tell others in a positive, healthy way what you need and what you don't want to tolerate. You should be able to have problem-solving skills and the ability to bounce back from difficulties. That is called resilience. If you want to have all these skills, very often it's possible to have these as long as you think well of yourself. So what is your opinion of you? If you think you're useless and you beat yourself up, sabotage yourself, and you think you don't love yourself, you don't care about yourself, don't expect others to be nice to you, because you will attract what message you are sending out. I don't care. So your self-esteem and how you value yourself is extremely important. Also be kind to yourself. See, we are all not perfect. Nobody is perfect. So be gentle with yourself, be kind, accept that you're doing your best, you're trying. Empathy, caring about how others feel. Time management, I've told you how to set boundaries. That's an important thing. If you want to avoid stress, one of the life skills you need to know is when to say no to what to say no and how to say it without offending the other person and without creating enemies by saying no. And of course, you have to build up your coping strategies, which is what some of the things that we have given you. The other thing, which don't be very rigid in your viewpoint, be very adaptable. Like, for instance, today, I was told at 3 different times that this meeting will be on, will be off, will be on again. So we just learn how to be more adaptable instead of getting stressed out by it. Mindfulness, I told you about, assertiveness and conflict resolution. Understand that conflicts do occur. All of us cannot love and get along with everybody around us. But you can do it in a nice way. Conflict resolution can reduce your stress levels. Otherwise, you're fuming inside at that other person. And you're actually releasing stress hormones within you, which are harming you. The other person is carrying on with their life. But here you are fuming and fretting about them. So what you need to do is have a self-care routine, have a checklist, like drink water, plan fun time, take deep breaths, do workout, help somebody, go for a walk, learn to smile. Smiling is a very nice way of prioritizing self-love. I make a vision board every year where I set out my goals and then I use that to inspire me in the morning. Keep learning. Understand that there is no end to learning. All of us can do better in whatever we are doing. Celebrate your progress. Remember that 1% improvement every single day can give you 37 times in a year increase in the effectiveness. So don't feel bad. Take baby steps. It's okay. And celebrate the fact when you achieve them. Reward yourself periodically. Tell yourself, pat yourself on the back and say, hey, you did a good job today. So learn to appreciate yourself and understand that this journey doesn't start and end. It starts and goes on. So remain committed, remain motivated. Connect with others who are on the same journey to maintain your momentum. Share your experiences, support each other, especially in an office. You can all do things together. And realize that even one small change, I told you that 1%, it can have an enormous impact. So don't give up, don't quit. And remember, your wellness journey can inspire other people. And together, we can all create a healthier world. So with that, I'm done with my presentation. It's time for your questions. And you can all now unmute yourselves and ask your questions. And before I close, let me thank you for joining me today and wish you well so that you all become stress-fit superstars. So, any questions? I'll be happy to take.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I'm Rajkumar here.
Yeah, hi.
So it was a really nice session. Thank you very much again. And so you told about sleep, the good quality sleep. So does it differ from a person to person, or else? Because I used to sleep only like 6 hours a day, but I normally hear about like having 7 to 8 hours of sleep is a minimum requirement for a healthy person. So,
So
does it affect in future?
Actually, our sleep requirement is according to age.
Okay.
You see, an infant, for instance, out of 24 hours, it's almost sleeping 22, 23 hours.
Okay.
Because a lot of growth hormone is being produced, a lot of processes are taking place in the growth and development of the brain and the body at that age.
Okay.
So literally today I was seeing a 4-year-old sitting on the scooter behind the father, sandwiched between his sister and the father, who was dozing, coming back from school.
Okay.
He's being brought back from school. And I was commenting to my driver, actually for a 4-year-old, the number of hours of sleep that they require is about 12 hours. But our children are having to go to school at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And that poor child is sleeping. He's coming home at 4 o'clock, 3:34. And whole day he's been at it. In those days, I don't know if they still do it, but in the first standard and all, in the afternoon, they used to put children to sleep in the school.
Okay.
So for 1 hour, they used to put children to sleep in the school because that's necessary for the child. So as you grow older, especially once you get it to 50, 60, you find that you can get by with 4 to 5 hours of sleep. Though If you want restful, brain supporting, health supporting sleep, for an adult, anyone above the age of 25-30 comes under an adult. 6 hours of sleep minimum every night is useful. Occasionally, if you can get an 8 hours sleep, it's good.
But I usually get up at 6
No,
hours
that's
or
okay.
5
It's all right.
hours or something.
But see, as long as you're not having symptoms of sleep deprivation, that also is important. See, there are people who sleep for 8 hours, 9 hours, and yet they are groggy in the daytime. So it depends on the quality of sleep. You're probably getting excellent quality of sleep.
Okay.
So some people, lie down, sleep for 8 hours, but they toss and turn.
Oh. Okay. So the way that how much energy that we keep during the day.
No, the quality of your sleep is what is more important than the quantity.
Okay. So,
Can people in the thing remove them, open up their videos so that we can have a chat with visual, because it's so difficult to talk to black boxes.
Yeah, actually, I just want to know that if suppose we are doing exercise every day, actually it gives happy hormones, right? A lot of happy hormones.
Correct.
So if suppose we doing exercise every day, it will manage the stress, right? Almost.
No, it's one of the factors which can help you manage stress.
Okay. It's not only.
See, if I do exercise, but I'm an angry person who's fighting with everybody and emotionally not managing myself, I'm not going to be stress-free just because I'm physically muscular and fit.
Okay.
It's emotional wellness, mental wellness, physical wellness, spiritual wellness.
Is there any good time for an exercise,
yes.
doctor?
According to, see, the body has its own cycle. It's called chronobiology, where there is a time cycle which is set in the body for certain tasks. It does it automatically. You and I are not contributing to that chronobiology. So it has been found that good time to exercise is between 7 and 9 in the morning and between around 7 in the evening. These are two good times. But when you exercise, especially if you do vigorous exercise very close to bedtime, you'll find you can't sleep. So don't do it later than 7:30.
Okay.
So between 6 and 7:30 is fine. Between 6 and 7:30 is fine. But it's okay to go for a walk.
Okay.
Have your dinner and go for a walk, a leisurely walk, not a brisk walk or a jogging or something like that. You can go for a casual walk. In fact, I recommend that, especially for you IT professionals, where you guys don't have time for your families. I say use the walk. The entire family go for a walk. Then you have time to ask your child, how was your school? What happened? You talk to your wife. You spend quality time because you're not doing anything else. You're able to really care about each other and talk to each other about each other.
Yes.
You have to unmute, Prem Shekhar. I can't hear you.
I'm saying important not to carry the mobile phone during the walk.
Yes, correct.
It has become another limb of our body, so that we cannot leave it anywhere. That worry will be there always. Okay, somebody had called something.
And the ladies in the room, let me tell you that you guys have more stress than the men do, because you're managing your home, your husband, your child, your mother-in-law, your mother, your neighbor, your milkman, your grocer. You're managing all of this as well. So I want you women, particularly as a woman, let me tell you that you need to love yourself. You need to understand that you matter. Very often, all of you function as if you're a candle. The candle is giving light to everybody and everything, but it is destroying itself in the process. Change yourselves into oil lamps. Give light by all means to everybody, light other lamps by all means, but burn bright in your own flame. You don't have to destroy yourself in order to be something for other people. And I would like the men in the room to please understand. Tomorrow is the International Day of the Girl Child. So please understand, men in the room, that you need to consider and thank and acknowledge and help the women in your life. Whether it is your mother, your sister, your daughter, your wife, whatever. Because you really don't know that women tend to do a lot more. They're able to multitask much better. And you don't even notice it. So at least notice it, at least acknowledge it and appreciate it. Because when you come home from work, how often do you ask your wife, did you have a good day? Whereas 90% of the time, எப்படி இருந்தது, நல்லா இருந்தீங்களா, எல்லாம் நல்லா போச்சா இன்னைக்கு? The wife will ask. But the husband rarely asks. She could have had a terrible day. Everything would have gone wrong in the house. You neither ask nor care. So I appeal that is one of the ways to manage mental health of the woman and the man. Any other questions? Any other comments?
Actually, emotion is more important for handling the stress, right? Emotional quotient.
Definitely, definitely.
Okay.
The ladies are all very quiet. Okay. Are we done? Mr. Hamidullah, are you in charge of this meeting or something? What?
No, I am
From the
not.
company
Actually,
side?
I'm not Hamidullah. I am Rajkumar. My
Anga, your
system
thing says Hamidullah. The
says
system
Hamidullah.
says, okay.
Says Hamidullah. Says
Sorry,
there must
my
be some error.
apologies.
But I'm Rajkumar. Not an issue, man. Not an
Okay.
issue. What's keep in the name? So the only thing that I recently continuously watching Mahatri also.
Yeah.
I watch Meghna Dikshit also. So that is what like keeping me going on with some kind of some amount of mindfulness.
I'm also a brain
Not
health
fully.
and resilience coach.
Oh,
I've also studied, I've been trained by Blair Singer Academy.
oh, really, man. Okay. So I will follow your channel
And
also in
I'm
YouTube.
at Prithika Chary, I'm a soft skills trainer and an NLP master practitioner also.
Oh, it's great to hear, man. I will also follow you from here on.
Good. So over to you, Prem Shekhar. I'm done.
Okay, if there are no more questions, then we'll end this session with thanks to Dr. Prithika Chary for a wonderful session on mental well-being, and also thank all of the participants for coming in and staying in and actively participating with questions after the session. Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Great life, all of you. Bye.
Thank you.